Thank you for coming on a Saturday. We are going to talk about steps to do before you launch a new website. My name is Irina Blumenfeld. I've been building things on the web for over 15 years, and currently I have my own company called NetMagic, where I build sites for businesses. I provide monthly website care and training as well. So can I ask you to raise your hand if you are planning on launching a new website soon? And raise your hand if you recently launched a new site. So if you launched a new site, don't worry if you didn't do any of these steps. You could still do them after you launch. So the first thing, you want to make sure you don't have any broken links on your site. Because if somebody goes and clicks on the link and the page does not exist, they'll get an error page. This is a custom error page from Amazon. If somebody goes to a page that doesn't exist. You can scan for broken links with this tool. What you do is you go to this URL and put in the URL of your site. And if you have a lot of pages, it might take a few extra minutes. But it scans all the pages on your site and tells you if there are any broken links within your site, and also to other sites where if you're sending people to other sites and those pages do not exist, it will tell you. And also give you exact place. It will give you the pages that have broken links in them with exact location where there's a broken link. So it's really helpful. The second thing you want to make sure, so if you're building a brand new website from scratch, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're like trying to replace a website that you already have with a new site, you want to make sure you redirect pages from the old site to the new site so that you don't lose Google standing for, it's really, really important. Speaking on personal experience, if you, for example, if you have a link on your old site that would look something like this, our products / super cool product. And then you build a new site and chances are it's going to have a different structure. It might be product / super cool product, something different. So what happens if Google already indexed your old site and people click on the old link that's being indexed by Google and they click on it and they get an error page that this page does not exist if you didn't redirect. And then Google thinks that this page does not exist, so they demote your standing for that product even though you have a brand new page for it. So you have to redirect it. There is a plugin, WordPress plugin called redirection. So when you redirect a page, you put in the old page URL and then you put the new one. So people don't even realize they're being redirected. They just click on the old link and it automatically sends them to the new page. You can also do it in htaccess. It's more complex. It's a file in the root of your site. If you don't know how to do it, please ask somebody for help because it's really, really important for not to lose your Google standing for your old site. If you already launched a new site, let's say you don't know what pages you're supposed to redirect. You might have had hundreds of pages on the old site. So if you haven't launched it yet, if you still have old site live and you're planning on launching a new site, you can go and search, Google search, you can put in site, column, and then your website address, like mine is netmagic.com, and it tells you all the pages that are being indexed right now. So that way you could see, oh, I have to redirect all these pages to the new pages that I built. So you can print it out or write it down so you know which pages you need to redirect. If you already launched a new site and you didn't redirect, if you have Google Analytics, which I'll talk about in a minute, there's a search console where you'll see pages with errors. So those pages with errors are the ones that Google doesn't know that they exist. So the new pages you haven't redirected. The other thing you need to do is make sure you optimize your images. Speed is really important. Nobody likes to wait for a slow site. And it's really important on mobile right now with slower connections. So this chart shows a breakdown of an average page on the web right now by content type. So you could see in blue, more than half is taken up by images on the average page. And then quarter is taken by video, and then fonts and style sheets. So images take up the most space on an average page. So it's really important to optimize them so that it loads faster for the user. And there are different tools out there. Use the one that works best for you. These two are web interfaces that if you go to tinypng.com, it's a web interface. So you'll see a panda bear on the screen, and it says drag and drop your images in this window. So what you can do is just drag and drop the images from your computer into that window, and it will optimize them for you and show you how much you saved percentage-wise of the image file. And then you can download them right from that page into your computer and then upload it to your site. I use TinyPNG for this presentation for images so it loads faster. So the image will look exactly the same, but it will be a lot smaller in size because it strips the image metadata that you don't need. It just takes up extra space, so you don't need it on the web page. And if you want to automate the process, EWW Image Optimizer is a free plugin for WordPress. And also there is compressed JPEG and PNG. So that way, every time you upload an image to your WordPress website, it will automatically be optimized. So it might take a few extra seconds while you're uploading because it's being optimized at the same time. Or if you have users that are uploading their images, it will optimize them for you. And the other nice thing, if you already have like a lot of existing images on your site that haven't been optimized, if you install one of these plugins and you go into your media library in WordPress, and where you see all the images, there'll be an option to optimize each image, or you can bulk optimize them all at once. But I would back them up first. Caching also is really important for the website to load faster. If you have a page and a person comes to that page, and the server has to query the database, pull out pieces of that page like the header, the footer, the whole template. So that takes time. And if you have caching enabled and another person comes to the same exact page, the page will already be stored in cache. So it will be loaded much faster. So caching is really helpful for faster page delivery. And it depends on your hosting provider. Some of them have their own caching plugins that are optimized best for their servers. So you can check with them. Or WP Rocket is a premium popular WordPress plugin that helps you optimize all different kinds of cache. And also, if you do have caching enabled, sometimes people update a page and it doesn't show up. When you reload, it doesn't show up because you have caching enabled. It has cache from the old version. So every caching plugin has a purge cache button. So you have to clear out cache and then reload the page, and then you'll see your changes. And free plugin made by Automatic, the company behind WordPress, is WP Supercache. It's really, oh, yeah.
Just one.
Oh, sorry.
What app are you using on your phone to do this?
Keynote.
Thank you.
Now when we launch a new site, you want to make sure it has a SSL certificate. It used to be that we just installed SSL on websites that were selling products. And it was really complicated. You had to purchase an SSL certificate, and then you had to renew it every year and re-upload. So now it's a lot easier. There is a free SSL called Let's Encrypt. And most hosting providers now support it. And it's really important to have SSL because Google gives you higher ranking for sites that have SSL, and they're really focused on all the websites having SSL certificate now. And it's also helpful when you log into your website, like through WP admin panel, you put in your username and password for your site, that it's protected. You have SSL enabled when you put in your password. Also this week, Google Security Blog released a blog post that they will start in the new version of Google Chrome will be showing in July all sites that do not have SSL as not secure. So right now, it just has like, if the site doesn't have SSL certificate, if there's like no HTTPS connection, it has little I in the circle next to the URL in Google Chrome. And starting in July, it's going to say not secure. So people that go to your site and they don't know, it just doesn't look so good.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you know if Let's Encrypt works across all browsers? Because do you remember when there were some encryptions that were free that they didn't work in certain browsers? You know what I'm talking
As far as I know, it's pretty, it works across all the browsers.
Accepted, okay.
Yeah, it's really accepted now, yeah.
The only thing that doesn't work in is a multi-site. When you do a multi-site, you'll have to get a wildcard SSL.
Yeah.
Somewhere else?
Yeah.
Wildcard SSL, basically, you can have subdomains, and they will all be protected under the same certificate. And actually, Let's Encrypt is going to release, I heard they're working on releasing a free wildcard SSL. It's a very popular open source SSL right now. So you don't have to pay unless you have special requirements. And it's really not really hard. Most hosting providers support it now. And it's not complicated to migrate your site to HTTPS. The only caution is if you load things from third parties on your site. So let's say if you have a real estate site and you're loading listings from MLS provider, and that MLS provider does not have SSL, then you're loading insecure listings into your secure site, and your users might get a little error message, like an icon in the browser bar that will say you're trying to load insecure resources into secure site. Have you ever seen that, like when you're trying to purchase something and you get a little tiny, I don't know if you saw like a little arrow, and if you, a lot of times it could be just like one little image that's being pulled from somewhere and it's not being HTTPS encrypted. So also, if you're loading ads on your site and the ad provider does not have SSL encryption, that might cause an error. Or so yeah, otherwise, most providers now, Google Analytics, YouTube, like all the providers now support SSL, but some don't, so you just have to be careful with that. Yeah?
Would it be bad practice to use self-signed SSL?
I haven't used it, so I'm not sure.
What was the question?
Is it a good practice to use self-signed SSL?
Probably get an error and Google what nice to do self-sign.
Huh?
You don't want to do self-sign. You'll get, it'll tell you it's self-signed.
And you don't get the validation?
Yeah, it does get validation because it doesn't know, anyone with self-sign that's, it doesn't know if they're trusted or not.
So that's incredibly better.
Yeah.
Is it good to trust an open source encryption? Because I mean, a hacker can get a hold of that and tear it apart.
I think, I know Let's Encrypt is being sponsored by Google, by Automatic, the company behind WordPress, Microsoft. A lot of big companies are really involved with Let's Encrypt. So I trust it, and it's very universally adopted right now. So yeah, it's pretty popular SSL. And again, like some hosting providers still sell SSLs that you have to pay for. And some you might need more secure SSL if you want your company name to show up in the browser bar. Yeah, but most people, like I think for a regular site, Let's Encrypt would be fine.
Question?
Yeah.
So if you do upload material from another site that's not secure, what can you do about that?
You have to contact them and ask if they can give you secure material. If it's a material that can be, let's say you're loading an image from somewhere else, if you could just download that image and upload it to your own site, then you don't have extra connection to somewhere else. It will be faster, plus it will be encrypted. So, yeah.
Is there a plugin that would block me from doing that? Let's say if I'm trying to upload something else, it tells me, no, this is an unsecure site or something like that, so that I don't do it?
I'm not sure of a plugin. The best way you can test, yeah. Did you
Oh, no, it's
have,
finished.
huh?
Sorry, it's before you finish. Okay, most sites I use a really simple SSL, and the main reason I use that is just in the event somebody links to an insecure version of something, it will try to pull a secure version of it. So like if I embed a YouTube video on my site and I use the HTTP, then it will just swap it out to the HTTPS for me. It handles like 9 out of 10 problems I have with that.
What's it called?
Really simple SSL.
Yeah, it converts the HTTP to HTTPS, all the links. But as long as that video provider has HTTPS available, I know I was building a real estate site and the MLS provider, I called them, they didn't have HTTPS available, so there was nothing I could do about it. So unless they converted to HTTPS, all the listings, then I would be able to call it as HTTPS. Yeah.
And a big problem is now you often can't even override this. It won't let you load it on several browsers. You can't even get around it. It's really hard to undo it. So if you have this mixed content, it used to be easy to go, yeah, I still don't see it. Now it's really hard. So you want to make sure you don't have this. You either want to make an insecure site you have to put it on, or make everything secure.
Yeah. I think everybody's moving towards secure now, and like I said, Google is going to start marking the non-secure as non-secure, all the sites. So I think it might force more people to move to HTTPS, everything. So, yeah.
So what happens when, like if I was putting ads on my website, would I have, and I'm kind of thinking how this is similar to what you're doing with your real estate. You have to make sure that the ad is...
Yeah, ads is the same thing. If they do not provide HTTPS, it's really, really hard to, with ads. This is one of the biggest problems for big media, like magazines, newspapers. They have a lot of ads.
Mm-hmm.
And for them to transition to HTTPS, this is one of the biggest hurdles, is make sure all the ad providers support HTTPS. Because otherwise there's nothing you can do. It will be like mixed content. But like I said, I think everybody's moving towards HTTPS, and eventually they'll be forced to move. I think a lot of like New York Times recently, like they wrote a blog post about moving to HTTPS. So I think they're just being forced to move to HTTPS, all the ad providers as well. Yeah.
What's the consequences if, like, now in real time, I get an ad that would be much like your copy for your real estate listings, and you put it on your website anyway?
Yeah.
What are the consequences?
Well, the consequences, if you have a secure site, if you have a SSL on your site, so it will just be mixed content error for the user. They'll see mixed content, which I still see on some sites a lot. It just doesn't look very professional, and people that don't know any better, like if somebody was trying to make a purchase, it's kind of scary to see that there's insecure resources loaded on this page.
Yeah.
It could be just like one tiny little image. It just doesn't look very good. So.
Thank you.
So the one more thing is people sometimes overlook is adding a FAVICON. Little FAVICON is a little square icon that is loaded next to the page title in the browser tab window. It represents branding for your website, and it makes it stand out from other tabs that are open on the screen. So usually people either use the first letter of their company name or the logo, whatever you want it to be. WordPress makes it easy to add a favicon to your site. So if you go to where you say customize your site on your WordPress admin panel, so you go into customize, and then where it has site identity, you go under where it says site title, tagline, and then on the bottom it has a site icon. So you can upload the image, and it has to be at least 512 by 512 pixels. So that image will act as your favicon for your site. And also, if somebody wants to add a shortcut to your website from their phone, that image will be like the little icon on their phone as well. Yeah.
That'll still be there in Gutenberg?
I think so. I don't know if they're taking that out. Good. Yeah, yeah. And I can't emphasize how important it is to test everything before you launch a site. So if you have any forms, make sure you fill them out and send them to yourself. Make sure that they work. If you are selling products on your site, a lot of payment processors like PayPal, Stripe, they offer test mode. So you can put your system in test and actually make a purchase with like a fake credit card number. And then you could see how the whole transaction process works. What does the customer see after they make a purchase? What email notification they get? So it's really helpful to see how it works before somebody actually makes a live purchase. And just make sure you put it back to live from test mode when you're done testing.
Irina,
Yeah.
Can you talk at all about testing on various devices or platforms?
Yeah, that's my next point is
awesome.
make sure you test on mobile and tablets, because a lot of times it might not look the same. So yeah, it's really important to on actual devices. And also, if you have social sharing, like if you have plugin with links, if you want people to share your post on social media, I would share it first myself, like just make sure that they work. And when you're ready to announce your site to your Facebook followers, let's say, and have you ever shared a link on Facebook and you put in the URL and then there's a weird image comes up, like you didn't expect, and title. So there's a way to test how it looks on Facebook before you actually share it. Facebook has a tool that the link at the top, that if you go to that link and put in the URL of the page you're planning on sharing on Facebook, and you say fetch information, it will actually show you what it looks like when it's shared. So it will show you that this is the image that will be shown, this is the title and the description. And by default, it takes I think the first image on the page and featured image, and the title of the page and the first couple sentences of the post. So you can actually customize what it looks like. I'll show you how you do that. And Twitter has a similar tool as well. So you can go to that link and put in the URL that you're planning on sharing on Twitter. And it will show you what it will look like. And sometimes, have you seen on Twitter, it shows either the full image like this, or sometimes it's just like a little square image next to the description. So you can customize what size image you want to show on Twitter as well. So if you want to customize, you can do it with a plugin called Yoast. And Chris is going to talk more about it. But this is a SEO plugin for WordPress, very popular. And to customize social sharing, when you install Yoast plugin, you'll get new menu items on the left side on the dash, and for like settings for this plugin. And social in red will be one of them. So you'd have to click into social button, and then you'll see a screen that looks like this for different social media channels. And if you want to customize Twitter or Facebook, you have to enable it here. And this is screen for Twitter. See, it's enabled in pink. And then it says summary with large image. So I want to show my post on Twitter with a large image. Or you can change it if you want a small image. So if you enable this, and to customize each individual page or blog post, you have to go into that page when you edit a page, like you wrote a new blog post, and you have Yoast plugin enabled. You have to scroll down, and you'll see a menu that looks like this, where you can, and then you have to click on the left side. There's like 3 little dots for social sharing, and you'll see Facebook, here, Facebook and Twitter icons. They're very small on the screen. And if you don't see them, that means they're not enabled. So you have to go back to the other slide and enable them. And here, as you can see, you can put in the title, the description, image. You can even put the image that's not on the blog post, like a different image that you just want to show on Facebook when you share the post. So this is where you can customize how the page will look when you share it on Facebook. And the same for Twitter. You can do the same here. And if you want to see who's coming to your site, where they're coming from, what pages they're looking at, you can install Google Analytics plugin by Monster Insights and then connect it to your Google Analytics account. And Chris is going to talk more about that. And make sure you secure your site. There are different security plugins out there. WordFence is a popular free plugin that you can install on your site, and it has a firewall option. It blocks people from trying to hack into your site. It sends you a report of what countries were trying to log into your site. It also notifies you if you have any plugins that need to be updated, or your WordPress version is out of date. So it's really helpful. And one of the things it will tell you is how many hackers tried to use username admin to hack into your site. You can see what username they tried to use. And do not leave admin username. When you install WordPress, by default it comes with admin username. So a lot of people forget about it. So you have to go under users and make sure you don't have admin left over. Because if they already know your username, they can just guess a password and hack into your site. So if you are logged in as an admin, you have to create a new user, log out, log in as the new user, and delete admin. Make sure you delete it, yeah.
Another reminder is when they blog, not to use their admin as their username. You know what I mean?
As long as the username is not admin.
Well, yeah, but I've had it where they'll try to log in with the username of the blogger.
Oh, the username of the blogger.
So you either create another user that's not the admin, it's probably recommended to be your blogging.
Yeah.
You know, and
Right. So it doesn't have administrative privileges.
yeah.
Yeah. So by the admin username by default has all the administrative privileges.
Right.
So if you leave it,
Another username to give it your admin, a different username, and then you start logging with that same username.
mm-hmm.
Hackers will try all of the bloggers to try to see if they've got admin privileges, or, you know, so it's a good idea when you're blogging not to use a user with an administrative
Right,
privilege.
like just editor privileges, or yeah.
You mean we can disable the admin username?
The admin username, that it could be your name, it could be something else with administrative privileges, as long as it doesn't say admin, because admin is the one that by default comes with WordPress, and they know people forget to delete it. So you have to make sure it's not even left in your website under users, so that it's been gone.
To administrators.
Yeah. And you want to make sure you have backups for your site. Don't just rely on your hosting provider. So there's different backup plugins out there. Backup Buddy is a premium WordPress plugin that's very popular, but use the one that works best for you. You can set up backups on a regular schedule, like you can have it back it up daily, weekly, and have the backup upload somewhere in the cloud, like in your Dropbox or Google Drive. So that way, if something goes wrong, you can restore to the previous version of your site.
How frequently do you recommend that?
How frequently backup? Well, it depends how many changes. Like if you're selling things and you have live transactions, like you want to back up as often as possible. If you don't have many changes, you can just back it up. If you don't have any changes, you can back it up weekly. Back it up before you do any updates.
Okay.
So it just depends on the site. And it's nice to have it scheduled automatically, so it just backs up without you even thinking about it. So these are the steps we went over. You're welcome to take a screenshot if you want. Check for broken links, redirect pages, optimize images, activate caching, SSL, add FAVICON, make sure you test, install Google Analytics, secure the site, and install backups. And here's, again, the link to the slides from this presentation. You can tweet me, email me, ask me questions. Thank you. So, do you have any questions? Yeah.
So having the HTTPS SSL and ensure that you're going to have a secure link to, let's say, your bank, if I'm in an environment like this where you don't have passwords for the Wi-Fi?
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Okay. I've always been told that if you are in a public environment like a library, airport, you don't want to be signing on to your bank or other sensitive areas using that link. Now, having an HTTPS SSL certificate to that, does that guarantee you any more security, or should you still be wary of that?
I'm paranoid, so I don't sign into my bank on the public insecure network.
Okay.
I was thinking about getting a VPN. VPN, actually, yeah.
And be careful with that too.
Yeah, with such secure data that you want to have a VPN. But if
Not
you...
a free one either.
What SSL will do if you have a website with super like embarrassing information that people don't want to know, they go on your site, let's say, then it will kind of help so that the hackers don't get in the middle and steal that they're actually going onto your site if you have SSL. And also it helps, like if you're in a Starbucks and somebody set up like a fake like network, and people think they're actually logging into Starbucks, and they're actually logging in through their own, I forget what it's called, access point, I think. Yeah, so if you have SSL installed on your site, they'll have a much harder time pretending that they're you, so people will log into your fake site if you have SSL. So that protects that communication. Yeah.
The problem with connecting to the Starbucks or anywhere like that is I'm going to attack you, your computer, more than the man in the middle, which is what you're talking about.
Yeah, man in the middle.
I'm going to try and get into your computer and then put on some kind of keylogger, and then I can watch everything you do even once you leave. Right. So once you're on an insecure network, you don't know who you're sharing the network with. If I'm a dedicated hacker, which I know some of them, that's what they do. They hack your computer, then they watch your keystrokes, and then they'll use that later to get into your bank account, whatever. If you want a VPN, I recommend NordVPN. I did a lot of research.
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Nord.
And they have some good offers.
It's out of Panama, and they don't log anything. The problem they have, as well as all other VPNs, is sometimes hackers will use their systems. They'll often kick them off, but they'll make it so you'll connect, and then you can't go to certain sites because they know it's the VPN. So sometimes you'll have a problem with that, where their VPN site is overused, and then like Microsoft or your bank might allowing it to connect. But I haven't had that much, but even those have problems because they're a bit of the Wild West, because hackers use VPNs all the time.
Sure.
So the other thing I was going to say is if you don't have two-factor authentication on your WordPress site, there's now free two-factor authentication. Like, all of her ideas are really, really good, and then if you add that, that's another layer that makes it super hard for someone to get into your site. It's, I can't remember the plugin, but you want to use Google Two-Factor. It's a free app on your phone. And you want to use this also for your email. If you don't use this for your email, and I want to attack your website, I'm going to hack your email, then I'm going to get in via your email into your website. So you want to secure your email, and you want to secure your website. If you don't have that, then you're still vulnerable if you have like sensitive data, particularly.
Yeah, I
You
think,
really use two-factor everywhere it's possible. And
Yeah.
I even choose financial institutions with it now because
Yeah.
it's so much harder for anyone to get in them.
It's called two-factor?
two-factor, yeah, so
You
they
do two things, they're gonna send you a link.
send on your
and
phone.
you can even on your iPhone, just press it with your thumb, and it will.
That's like an advanced one, yeah.
So that WordFence security plugin, I think the premium version, they offer the two-factor authentication.
And there's some free two-factor plugins, yeah, that's
Yeah.
good as well,
Yeah,
Another good idea is whenever you're gonna start to do a website or anything, keep a log of your copyrights. You know, these are the pictures I'm gonna use, these are the videos, these are the soundtracks, and these are my copyrights, so that if anything ever happens, you don't have to go looking crazy, where do you have it, how, you know,
Yeah.
did you use it? Do you have a one-time use just for the website? Do you have a different kind? Is it, what do you call it, from Wikimedia Commons, what the attribution is that they
that's a good idea,
require?
yeah.
All of that stuff, because that can come to bite you, especially if you make some money.
Yeah, yeah, images are very important to have, not,
Anything that's
anything,
copyrighted,
yeah.
and you wanna have this organized. This is not like the IRS, they're gonna come and, you know, and they can come after you.
Yeah.
You will win every time.
yeah, copyright is very important, yeah.
So is there a chance, like, you know, initially it was under free, like, you know, Commons Media, and later they're gonna make it any copyright?
If at the time when you went, it was available, that's why you document when you had it, the time it happened, the kind of license that it happened. Usually, when you download the IO, if you go to Wikimedia Commons or one of these, it will tell you the attribution that you have. And as long as you have it documented, you have a case. If that changes afterwards, you know, you did it before, you know.
Because they wanna keep checking, like,
Yes,
under what
yes,
license
yes,
it's
yes,
still
no.
going. It's a good
Now,
thing.
if you're gonna build another website with that, check it at that time.
Yeah,
Was that-
very
that-
good
that
idea,
changed?
yeah.
screenshots.
Good point. Yeah. Yeah, I know with images they can track, if you take an image from somewhere, it's very easy for them to find.
They're even putting electronic watermarks on there, so you
Yeah.
don't see it.
Yeah, you don't
But
see it.
When you use the image, they have a watermark and they know you use it.
Yeah, you can scan and see all the sites that use this image on the web.
Yes, yes, it's, you know,
Yeah.
it's business.
So is there any plugin like in WordPress that keeps checking with all the copyright?
I don't know about
informations?
copyright plugin in WordPress. I'm not familiar.
Because if that makes job easy.
Yeah. What's your question?
You can have some fun with hackers and get creative. I had a bunch of people they're signing in from Russia and not, you know, trying to hack in it. And so I found a script to redirect them. And at first it came that would redirect them to Google, but then I realized I looked up in Google, the Kremlin. So I substituted the Kremlin's address for Google, so all the people coming in from Russia were redirected to the Kremlin.
Interesting.
There's even programs that you have that when you're on your computer and you're at a Starbucks, you see if they're trying to hack into you.
Yeah. Are there any other questions? No? Okay.
I have a question.
Oh, yeah.
How do we find out if a picture is, or an image is copyrighted? Like they'll have like free stock photography, you can go on there and.
Yeah, you have to look on the website where you're getting the image from. There's certain websites that it specifically says this is the license anybody can use for. You just have to read their conditions.
Okay.
You can check that image metadata.
image metadata, yeah, so usually they state is the requirements, or you have to give attribution to photographer, that's one of the requirements. They're all different, so.
But if you don't have the permission, don't use it. It's implicit copyright in the US.
Yes.
I don't have to say copyright for it to be copyrighted. I have to give you permission. So it's very tricky. I've looked into this a lot. If you want a good site, there's Wikimedia. I keep mentioning Wikimedia. There's also Flickr. If you go to Flickr, they have a massive photo database, and you can say for commercial use, for nonprofit use, they have all these search criteria. They have like tens of millions of photos. They're a good source, Flickr.
Unsplash.
Take your
I
camera
like-
with you everywhere you go.
Unsplash is great, yeah.
What is it?
Unsplash, Unsplash. Yeah, they have high quality, you can search by keyword for images, so.
If you make money, really make sure you have copyright permission. If you're not making money,
Yeah,
it might happen, but it's if you're making money as a business, you really want to have copyright privilege.
Right, yeah.
If you're not making money and have deep pockets, it'll come after you anyway.
It's on
Depends who you are attracting.
All right, so thank you.
Thank you.